Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all your updates. What I say for today's video, the beer is courtesy of Steven. Thanks so much, Steven. I really appreciate it. Also, congratulations on your big news. Really excited for you. Happy for you. So this one, I try to go into these beers really blind, and this one I happened to watch a review because I didn't know it was a review of this beer. The guys at Nerdsense, Steven was nice enough to give them this beer, but as a mystery beer. So I watched their whole mystery beer, and then they open. I'm like, oh, I have that beer, but I waited several weeks to give me plenty of time to forget about it. So I remember at least I remember one pretty specific thing, but anyway. So this is Thimble Island Brewing Company, which I don't believe I've ever had anything from them. And this is Mutually Assured Destruction, MAD, a nice little Cold War reference for the history teacher. Russian Imperial Stout, barrel aged from 2017, so it's a good 5 years old at time of review. This is part of their Uncharted series. I like the I don't know what kind of knot that is, but it's on their label. It's on their bottle cap too, which I really like. One of the, if not the first craft beer I ever had, was from the Cooperstown Brewery, and it was just because I saw the baseball on their bottle cap, or as their bottle cap, and I was like, oh, that seems pretty cool. That came off really easy, but there was a hiss, so I'm going to assume it was pretty on there. But anyway, I'm a sucker for things like that, so it definitely drew my attention. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it's flat or anything, so made a little hiss. It just came off a little easy, which had me worried, but looks like for nothing. Some legs, which isn't surprising given it's, it's a, well, actually, does it have the ABV? 11%. So yeah, I was going to say between being a Russian Imperial Stout and the barrel aging. Yeah, I mean, it's black with a decent amount of brown in there. The head is a very light mocha, probably somewhere between what I would call dark khaki and light mocha. I don't have a better word for that, but it's like between those two things. Definitely looks like a stout around 10%. How about that? Let's get into aroma. I get a lot of like this oak tannin. I actually get a lot of all things, red wine. It just says barrel aged. Does it say what kind of barrel? I assume it's like a bourbon or whiskey barrel. But I get like a lot of that's not the thing. What I remember from, I'll just say it up front. What I remember from their mystery beer doing was they didn't think it was a stout as they were drinking it. I think, and I don't think it was like they thought it was a porter. I think they thought it was something like a brown ale or something. Like I think they were like that surprised, like, oh, they're calling this a stout based on the flavors they were getting. But again, it's why I didn't review this beer earlier. I wanted to kind of forget what I had seen, so I might be misremembering. But I get a lot of like wine barrel oak tannins is how that's expressing itself to me. There's some sweetness, the perception of sweetness for the technical people. I can get a little bit of chocolate, so I can see the stoutness enough, but it's not like when I think of a Russian Imperial Stout, it's not that roasty. Keep in mind it's 5 years, so some of the stuff could have died down, I suppose. A little bit of like a berry thing. Okay, see about the taste. Cheers. Thanks again, Steven. It's interesting. It kind of does. Again, I don't know what kind of barrel this is. It's kind of like a sweet red wine mixed with a not particularly roasty stout. In time can, chill out some of that roast, fair enough. I get a little bit of that chocolate thing, but it's not like brownies or anything like that. It's just kind of like a light milk chocolate note. Blueberry. And I've heard other people say this, like nondescript red berry. I kind of, it doesn't make sense, but it also makes perfect sense when you taste it or smell it in something. This has that note as well. Even for 11%, I'm getting a little bit of warmth in the chest, nothing in the taste. Yeah, big oak tannins. To the point where it makes me think wine, In terms of spirit, yeah, I don't get like a big bourbon-y thing or whiskey if it is that kind of barrel. And trying to think. There's this other familiar thing that I want to kind of identify before I wrap this up. Cherry, but not like in an infected way. I think that it's like, okay, yep, there it is, got it. So it's the you bite into a chocolate covered cherry. It's that thing, but that makes the chocolate too intense sounding. But the cherry note is actually pretty spot on for this. Yeah, that's what it was. A big cherry note for me. And then in this aftertaste, because I'm getting a little bit of that warmth in the chest, it's not full-on coffee syrup, or not coffee syrup, cough syrup. You get a little bit like this cherry cough syrup in the aftertaste. So now I'm like super curious to go rewatch. I'll have to find which. I'll have to look at like the bottle shapes and be like, that must be the mystery beer review they did. And now I'm really curious to watch theirs and see what they had to say as I'm drinking this one. And if I'm really good, I'll remember to either at the end of the video or in the description box put a link to their mystery beer so you can kind of see their tasting notes, not knowing what's on the label, which I had the benefit of. And in terms of 5 years, I mean, I didn't have this beer fresh. I'm gonna say it's probably not peak right now, 5 years to be fair, but the sweetness I'm grooving on, the cherry note, because it's not like an infected cherry, is working well with what's there. And this, it's just kind of different too, because it doesn't, being a barrel aged stout, doesn't have the big whiskey bourbon thing, but it has this red wine thing for me. So yeah, it's a little different, which is cool too, and I like the taste, so fair enough. Have you had this beer before? Have you had anything by this brewery? Any barrel-aged stouts that weren't whiskey or bourbon you want to tell me about? Anything, everything, comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So always please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.